I have here Dorit, who came out to New Jersey from LA and did a wonderful workshop on food and emotions. And Dorit, I'd like you to talk with us a bit about food and nutrition, you know, the whole nutrition part of health and emotion in relation to families and children. And this is a whole piece that people don't talk about as much, and we so much appreciated your workshop. So if you could just give us some information on this related to families.
Thank you, Karen. Yes, the important thing to remember is that we learn what we see. So children do not never learn what they're taught, it's what they see their parents doing. Parents model for their children the way they wish them to be in the world. So if one wants to change one's relationship with food, I strongly suggest changing it before we have children, because we will simply inherit from our parents the same relationship with food as they had. So if they had a healthy relationship with food, wonderful, they'll pass it down automatically to their children without even trying. If one had an unhealthy relationship with food, same exact thing, it gets passed down. It might be not in the exact same manner, so it's not very obvious, but it still gets passed down anyway. Children's relationship with food will influence them for the rest of their lives, and unless they do a ton of work to overcome it. And it's consistent work. It's not something that one does like a rehab or something that one works on 1 week in one's life. It's consistent and constant. And so the easiest thing and the quickest thing we can give our children is a healthy relationship with food, and because that will affect their relationship with themselves.
Can you give us some tips for that?
Well, for example, one should sit down calmly, peacefully, and in serenity at the table with the child. The food should never be forced on them. One should never berate them about how they eat, what they eat, why they're eating, why they're playing with their food. Children automatically play with their food. Animals do too. They play first, then they eat. All animals do if we watch them. The same thing with children. So to be berating them and saying, stop playing with your food and just eat it, that is telling them that something is wrong with them, and their relationship with food will constantly trigger that memory afterwards, and so they will always go to a table with that same feeling that's deep within themselves, and that's already totally in the cells of the body. So it's very critical and important to be aware that the dinner table is never the place to discuss unpleasant topics, to bring up unhealed relationships within the family, to criticize family members, even if they're not at the table, to downgrade anyone. It needs to be an uplifting and very joyful experience. When we do that, we bring up joyful children who are constantly finding ways to uplift themselves, and as a result, the rest of people around them.
Wonderful. What great reasons to love food and to enjoy being with our families. Thank you so much, Dorit.